Hi there, happy Wednesday. I'm Julie Tam, managing broker at Lynn Realty, a brokerage serving generations of clients in the greater Houston area and from around the world since 1981. You can find me on HAR.com, that stands for Homes and Rentals, as Yao Tam. Thanks so much for joining me again this week for my weekly Wednesday video series, Smarter Real Estate, where I teach you practical strategies to be a smarter seller, buyer, tenant, or landlord, and take you on some of my real estate adventures. These videos are shot in one take and are not edited. And today I am inside a beautiful home that is 3 stories. It's not a townhome, as some people would like to call it. It is in fact a single family detached house, which means you have no shared walls with your neighbors. This is in the Villas de Tuscany gated community. I was here a few weeks ago for another video, and I'm back here because I actually do a lot of real estate in this neighborhood. It's just 10 minutes from the Galleria, from Chinatown, about 15 minutes from downtown, very convenient to everything, about 15 minutes to the medical center. Okay, so it's just outside the 610 loop in the southwest part of town off of 59 and Hillcroft. And I have actually sold about 40 brand new homes in the subdivision and several resales, which would be homes that people have lived in before, and also have rented out several homes multiple times over the past several years as tenants have turned over. And today I'm actually going to be talking about buying and selling new construction versus a resale home that may be just a few years old, or one that may be decades or even 100 years old or more. And the differences between all of these, the pros and cons, things that you should be thinking about when you are buying and selling such homes. So I'm going to walk through this home as I talk so that you can see this gorgeous home. I actually helped to design it, not the floor plan, but the finishes. I picked out the wood floors, the tile flooring and backsplashes, and the shower and bathtub tile surrounds, the fixtures, the hardware, the paint colors inside and out, and also the carpet. So you can see some of my work here, and also the cabinets. I think that this design is pretty timeless. Today we see a lot of the tile work and the granite that are kind of that standard white and gray, silverish tones, and those are very nice, but they're from a very specific time period. And I think that the colors in this home are going to be a little bit more timeless, where, you know, the range of it could be 10 years or more in terms of if someone walked into this home and the era that they thought this home was built in. I don't know if I mentioned, but I also picked the granite out for this home, so everything kind of coordinating. This is not necessarily my favorite design house. It's not. I have others that I like more, but this is one that happens to be vacant. The tenants are about to move in. We've leased it out. I've leased it out, and so I have the opportunity to come in here and show it to you. All right, so I'm at the front door now in the foyer. I'm gonna take a walk here while I talk. So this home was once new construction. It came with all the bells and whistles. Upgrades were standard because the builder already installed them. I represented the builder at the time. And so, you know, you have your pricing for a home, and then a lot of times if you want to add those upgrades, you're going to pay extra. If the upgrades are already included and the builder has built the home as a spec house, as speculative, in other words, no buyer yet, but waiting for one, then it's an inventory home, and a lot of times you can get that home for a lower price than if you were to pick the lot and start from scratch and make your selections for everything, because then, you know, it's going to take the builder and the representatives more time to work with you on all of that, and there's some risk involved because you may pick things that the mass public doesn't necessarily love, and so of course there are restrictions, and you may be guided by someone at the design center to choose certain things so that they do appeal to a wider audience. In case your contract falls through and you don't end up buying the house, you back out for any reason, then the builder can turn around and sell the home to someone else. Okay, these are brand new blinds throughout this house, by the way. We were just walking through the first floor bedroom suite with ensuite bath. This is definitely a very popular and common floor plan for homes that are close to town, where you have a bedroom on the first floor and then some sort of bathroom, maybe even 2 bedrooms on the first floor. Could be a shared bathroom, or each bedroom may have its own private bath, and then all your living areas would be on the second floor because that's where you have the most space. See, the first floor, you have a garage taking up about half the space, a little bit less than half, and then of course on the second floor you have the entire second floor to put the living, dining, possibly a breakfast, and then of course the kitchen. And then the third floor you usually find your master bedroom because there's more square footage up there to put a larger bedroom, and then of course possibly a second bedroom up there unless you have a study instead of that second bedroom. So I'm going to be climbing the stairs to get to the second floor, and let me talk to you about, with brand new homes, what you'd be expecting to get as a buyer. So of course the thing that people like is a home that's never been lived in by anyone else, so you don't have that wear and tear, that damage, that dirtiness, that used feel for the home. You're starting from scratch. Things are new, so they're gonna last longer. All your systems like HVAC, water heater, roof, all the major systems in the home are going to be new. This is the powder bath. I'm gonna swing around here. Another common thing you'll see in these homes are zoned AC systems. So you'll have a thermostat on either every floor or a thermostat on, say, the second floor that controls the first and second floor, and then another one on the third floor that controls the third floor. So with a new home, you're also going to get builder warranties, and typically you're going to see something like a 1-2-10. What does that mean? Usually the first year, the builder will come and fix things that have to do with workmanship and cosmetic things. So if there's a crack in the cabinet, paint that's chipping or peeling, things like that, they're gonna come through and fix those things. And then after that, you have another year, so a total of 2 years, for mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and other things like that. I'm gonna flip on the light here so you can see. This is a beautiful backsplash, this kind of cascading waterfall type of effect. It's nicely used in the bathrooms as well, and this is a 5-burner gas stove. This home was built back in 2015, so it is relatively new but not brand new. It has been occupied before and will be occupied again. You got your undermount kitchen sink that's very popular, and also a pull-down sprayer for the faucet, and all the built-in stainless steel appliances. I'm just shooting this on my own, so excuse the not perfect camera work with me and my iPhone and a little tiny tripod for it. Pantry there, and of course a space for the refrigerator. What is really popular now are large islands like this one. This is a 7-foot island, very, very expansive, great for spreading out a buffet to entertain guests, and also to park some bar stools up here on this side. And a very open floor plan with your dining room here where the chandelier is, and then the living room, just a seamless living space, so you have flexibility in terms of where you put things. Gas fireplaces are pretty hassle-free. You don't have the debris and the cleanup to do because it's artificial logs, and you just flip it on with a switch on the wall, just like a light switch, and on it comes. It does warm the space very nicely. High ceilings here, 12-foot ceilings. That is becoming the norm for new construction, at least 12 feet. All right, so I'm going to slowly make my way up to the third floor and continue talking. And then of course, beyond the 2 years, you usually have a 10-year warranty on roof, structural things, and foundation. What you'll notice in the first year and even the first few years that you live in your home is some natural settling that will occur along the walls. If you see cracks on the walls, you might have seen commercials about this, that are jaggedy like this, that tends to mean foundation problems. But if there are cracks that happen along natural seams and intersections, for example, like right here, if there were a nice vertical crack, or perhaps a horizontal crack near pressure points of weight, for example, like near windows, that's usually not so much to worry about. You can always get a professional to evaluate, but those are usually due to natural settling over time, because as the home sits there, it's just been built, it's sitting on the soil, it's going to settle, all the weight is going to be distributed over time, and so you're going to get that settling. And after the first few years, usually it'll slow down, you're not going to see so much settling in the next few years after that, but then over time, beyond that, then you might see some additional settling. Okay, this is the laundry room, and as you can see for this home, you have both, this is something to look for, electric and also gas connection for your dryer. That gives you the option to have both types of dryers. And of course, there you have the washer connections with the hot and cold water. All right. One thing about the appliances, refrigerator, washer, dryer, those are not standard appliances that come with new homes. And they're also not assumed to come with a resale home unless you specify it in the contract and the seller agrees to leave those behind. So that has to be agreed upon. With a brand new home, sometimes the builder might have a special and they'll throw in a free washer, dryer, and or refrigerator, blinds possibly, or those could be upgrades that you pay for. And so when you're going to choose those types of upgrades, you want to see, are they worth it? Because blinds, for example, or those 3 appliances that I mentioned, are easy to install after the fact. You don't have to get permits. You don't have to have the home, already possessing those items before you move in order to get an occupancy. permit, for example, in something like the city of Houston. So you can install those afterward. If that's going to be less expensive for you, that may be the way to go. We are in the secondary back bedroom on the 3rd floor with an ensuite bath, meaning a private bath. And this one also has a closet beyond it. Built-ins like this type of shelving are popular as well. Also, the more different types of granite and tile and different flooring that you pick for a home and paint colors, usually you're going to have to pay more, because that means the builder's got to go get, not just use up the rest of that paint gallon or can or whatever that he has, but he's going to have to go buy more in different colors. There's going to be more waste and more leftovers for every, say, 5-gallon can of paint that he gets. Same thing with tile and things like that. When you have boxes of flooring supplies or other types of supplies, rolls of carpet, you're going to end up with some waste and leftovers, because you cannot measure out exactly the amount of square footage that flooring is going to cover. And so therefore, the more different colors that you pick, usually it's going to cost you more. The builder usually will limit you to, say, 1 or 2 colors of each of those, depending on the builder. And I'm talking also about the greater Houston area market. This may not necessarily apply outside of the Houston, Texas market, so just keep that in mind. We are in the master suite now. Here is a master bedroom with vaulted ceiling. Every room in this house and every bedroom has ceiling fans, or a ceiling fan in each room. And then here is the carpet. Has some decent padding. The thicker the padding, the more expensive, of course. And of course, the tighter the carpet, the more close it is to commercial carpet. If it's softer, more luxurious, that's going to cost more as well. This is one of 2 master closets with the multimedia alarm system, and the internet, cable TV, those types of controls there in one of the closets. You've got French doors leading into the master bath, and a separate shower and tub is pretty standard. In this case, we have a frameless shower, which is really nice, so you don't have any sort of metal frame around the glass. It makes it very clear and just clean and beautiful. Opening up inside, again, another nice cascading tile effect. Large waterfall shower head, and tile work continuing around the shower with a shower seat, and of course tile work on the floor there that is sloped to the drain so that the water can drain out and not sit and then cause mildew growth, for example. We have a whirlpool jacuzzi tub that's nice and deep for baths, and 2 sinks. We don't call these, and we're not supposed to call these his and her sinks anymore, because a family arrangement can come in many forms, her and her, or his and his, or just one person using 2 sinks. You can have such luxury too. And then of course a separate water closet with cabinets built in above. Dual flush toilet, by the way. We're all about water saving, energy saving, that sort of thing. This is the second of the 2 closets. This particular home is built by Brookstone Homes, and I've sold many homes for this builder. Gosh, I've lost count. Over 50, more than 50 homes, maybe 60. Anyway, all right, so I'm gonna slowly start to make my way back down the stairs of this home while I continue to talk about new construction versus resale. So some more about new construction. Of course, as those years tick by and you live in that home, if you're getting ready to sell it as a seller, then you will find that the warranties may be either expiring or close to expiring. All right, so if you're gonna be passing along those warranties to the buyer, make sure you have all that paperwork and that it's transferable. And as a buyer, when you're buying the home, keep those things in mind too. If you're going to have warranties that are expired, you may want to buy your own home warranty, which is called a residential service contract. And what that is going to be a fee that you pay for an annual renewable annually. And the annual membership for this usually costs about a few $100 up to several $100, depending on the size of the home and the features that you're looking to warrant and how many different appliances, if there's a pool, etc. And so when you have this warranty, you can pay a deductible, basically a service fee of something like $65 to $75 is what's standard for the contractor from the home warranty company to come out and make repairs, and those repairs are free for each repair, for each service call. Sometimes if it's a smaller repair and you can find a contractor, or you yourself are handy, maybe it's not even worth it to pay for that trip charge, you just want to get it fixed yourself. Here is the balcony. It's very sunny outside. It's like 100 degrees right now, so it's a little bit blown out there, but I'll adjust the lighting so you can see. This is a synthetic decking material, so it kind of looks like wood, but it's really more like plastic, and it's interlocking, so if you can just pop each square tile out if you want to replace it or do any work underneath without having to break the tile. So it's actually a pretty convenient type of material that's popular and in use right now for homes, for the exterior balcony materials, as opposed to having ceramic or porcelain tiles like we see inside this home, for example. One thing I wanted to point out as well is you've got higher 42-inch cabinets above, nice vent hood that vents to the outside. The cabinets are kind of a grayish, but not your standard gray. There's a nice hue to it that is almost a mix of a little gray, a little beige, almost like a slight rose tint, just a slight touch of that. And so it just makes it really look modern and still has that nice warmth, just matching with the wood floors as well. All right, so I'm going to continue to go down now to the first floor. All right, so when you are looking to sell your home again and there is still new construction being built in the neighborhood, here's the challenge you run into. If you're going to price your home to where you can make a profit, you probably won't be able to sell your home very well because it's going to be competing with new construction. People, if they have a choice to pay just a little bit more for new construction, for those warranties and for that new home smell and all of those features being brand new, they might opt for that. And so if you price your home way under that, that would be the one way that you could attract a buyer. But if you've only lived in your home for a couple of years or a few years, then you probably won't make much of a profit. So it's usually better to stay in your home for longer, but of course sometimes life doesn't allow you to do that. You might need to move on for whatever reason. Okay, so when you are selling a resale though, the one way that you could potentially beat out new construction is if, for example, you have a lot of upgrades that would cost a buyer a fortune to pay for new construction. And so, but you can wrap those in and include them, and maybe you don't make the profit you want off of the upgrades. Maybe you're just trying to break even for the price of the home, and the upgrades you just figure, well, I got to enjoy them, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make the money back that I paid the builder for them. So that's one thing. And another thing is if the builder doesn't have any ready inventory available, if there's still time needed, for example, some weeks or months for construction to be wrapped up, and the buyer wants to move into something right away and be able to close more quickly, then that's an opportunity where you can get that resale home sold to a buyer who may be looking to move in right away. I'm going to walk into the garage so you can see this 2-car garage that comes with an opener and also remotes. Believe it or not, new construction, you don't always get an opener installed. Okay, they don't always provide that. Here you have some extra storage space over there along the wall and the platform. This is a pretty standard 2-car garage. Okay, so talking about resales, the older a home gets, of course, all other things being equal, you can tend to run into more problems. So things will be breaking down over time, as you know, and once the home reaches like 10, 15, 20 years old, that's when you really start to run into systems nearing or at the end of their lifespan. Systems that I mentioned earlier, like water heater, like HVAC, roof, things like that. Okay, and then when a home is decades old or even older than that, a problem that you can run into is just that things are archaic. They're not even up to the standard code now. So when you're going to resell that home and a buyer is looking to buy, maybe they're concerned because the spindles or the balusters in between, the space in between is too wide, like a child could fit through and fall through, and that's very dangerous. Whereas now there's specific code about things like that. Same thing with stair steps. There's a specific height for the risers and a depth for each tread, so that way it's not a trip hazard. If I'm going up and down the stairs, I can pretty much do it with my eyes closed because I can feel and I know what to expect. Whereas some older homes, suddenly there's a step that is higher than another, and so you almost trip because that was unexpected. Also, piping underground can be problematic. You can have pipes leaking or burst just due to, over time, that wear and tear. The type of piping material may not be the right piping material or up to current code, which most cases it's grandfathered in, but it just could be a concern when your water is running through that, and we have new, more modern ways of doing things now that are better for people. The other thing is large trees outside. The roots can start to really go underground and penetrate into the piping system and then potentially cause a pipe to break and then burst and cause leakage. And when you have leakage from underground, not only could it come up into your home and flood it, but more likely first it's going to cause an uneven moisture level around your home. So where some areas are wetter than others, and that's a very easy way to cause foundation problems. Also, homes built before 1978 are prone to having possibly lead-based paint. That's something that a current owner, unless they built that home and were the original ones who painted the home, they would not necessarily know if there is lead-based paint under perhaps the newer coats of paint that are on the wall. Lead-based paint can be dangerous if a small child, for example, chips off the paint and decides to put it in their mouth and eat it. Children don't know what they're doing. And so that could be a concern. But of course, if you're very watchful, or if there's many coats of paint and you don't think your child can do that, then maybe you're okay with that. But so these are just some of the things to think about when you're buying a resale versus a brand new home, and also when you're trying to go and turn around and sell your home, resale after just a few years if there's still new construction, versus if all the new construction is finished and you don't have that competition, it would most likely be a little bit easier to sell your home, all other things being equal. I have a lot of experience with both resales and new construction, representing both builder and buyer, and also seller of resales, buyer of new homes from several different builders, small to very large production builders. Most of the names of the builders that you can name in this area, whether it's Perry Homes or D.R. Horton. I'm familiar with a lot of different brands and have taken buyers to go see these homes and also ultimately to purchase some of those homes. And of course, helping those same or different buyers buy resales, and then also maybe turn around and sell their resales later to other buyers. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you're looking for a real estate broker to represent you in such transactions, also, I'm happy to talk to you about that. Feel free to send me a message or leave a comment. I hope you will like, subscribe, follow, whatever, on both YouTube and Facebook, and continue to watch my weekly Wednesday video series, Smarter Real Estate. And if you have any ideas for a future real estate video topic, please don't hesitate to let me know. There is no bad idea. I'm always looking for something new, especially since I'm doing these videos every week. I have to come up with something fresh and new, and sometimes that can be challenging. So definitely will be looking for your help and looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you next Wednesday. Thanks so much and have a great week.